Hi, everybody. Welcome to Eating with Intention. We discussed last week about the missing link. And if you go back and you go through the podcast or you go through the um, our Transform Your Health with Wendy Facebook group, you'll see the video that we did last Wednesday. And this is Wellness Wednesday for those of you that are not aware. And I like to do this throughout the months, and having a very specific kind of look at certain topics. And over the next month throughout March, we are doing what is referred to as Eating with Intention. There is a workbook that actually goes along with this, and if you guys want to grab that workbook, please, I've left a link in the comments. Hi. I've left a link in the comments with regards to the workbook. If you want to grab it, if it's not there now, I will definitely get it in there after the fact, because it is, it just helps to go along with it as well too. So, like I said, this is a really a user-friendly kind of program that is going to help you get to a better understanding of your relationship with food. And ultimately, excuse me, and ultimately, it's really going to help with that overall understanding of where you stand with food, how to be able to use the food a little bit differently in your life to nourish your body on different levels, not looking towards it for love, because again, we're going through the rest of the month doing our mirror work. So we're going to look for love, not within food itself, but in different ways. And just trying to understand and taking a little bit different approach with regards to our understanding anyways. So today we are talking a little bit more about our why. And I'm just getting my notes here to make sure that we're going through everything perfectly okay. Our why is very, very important. And, we really want to use that as the foundation of where we're going. So I know a lot of us, not a lot of us, but some of us actually have found ourselves in a position where food has been the ruler of our lives. It depicts and conducts the ebb and flow of everything that we do in our lives, and it doesn't have to. We want to be able to separate ourselves from our food, perhaps addiction, perhaps obsession, and and that correlation with how it affects our body as well too. Because food, yes, while it can be very enjoyable and loving and part of a ritual and part of life as it is, for people that are ebbing towards more of an addictive perspective with regards to food, it can literally rule our lives, and we don't want it to. Unfortunately, we can't not eat. So we have to figure out how to live cohesively with this situation and with food in our lives. Food can be very, very powerful entity in our lives, and something that we can't do without. So something that can end up being very personal. Sorry, my mouth is not working. Something that is very close to our hearts, and simply due to the fact that so much of our lives revolve around food. Life, love, relationships, celebrations, social gatherings, intimate settings all connect very closely with food. And from my point of view, people get extremely upset with me sometimes, actually, just knowing that I'm a vegan or vegetarian and a nutritionist, because right away they feel that I'm going to start telling them how to eat. Right away they become defensive, because it's a very much a survival. People go into survival mode with regards to thinking that I'm going to try to change them or judge them by the way that they're eating or chastise them, just because, as a nutritionist, I mean, I talk about healthy eating all the time. I talk about perhaps you should do this and do this and do this and this. But it's not a matter of me sitting in judgment by any means. I am not perfect. I am a human being as well too. I like coffee. I like sugar. I like fast food and junk food. But it's about understanding that relationship with food and trying not, again, not allowing it to rule your life. In this course, over the next 4 or 5 weeks, we're going to be actually looking and going into the exact food that we're not going to be going into the exact food that you're eating, but rather the reasons why you're eating them and the situations in which you're eating them and the emotions around the food as well, too. So, like I said, understanding your why is really about learning about the food freedom and your motivation behind wellness as well too. Um, so for as many times as we've grabbed a pint of ice cream, or when we're wanting to watch a sappy movie and have a good cry, we've all done that kind of situation, sitting down at feeling really overwhelmed with life and grabbing a glass of wine, um, or a box of cookies, and just, allowing that connection between food and emotions and release and love and comfort and all these different things. Understanding food actually can meet some of our emotional needs, as opposed to nourishing our physical hunger, is actually considered emotional eating. And a lot of us have been there. A lot of us have done it. It's not something new. This is not something that I'm not telling you. It's like blowing your mind, because I know a lot of us in this group specifically, we are emotional eaters, and that's just part of who we are. But it's a matter of trying to work through that. There's several ways that we can actually train ourselves to combat these emotions and the subsequent eating as a result too. So I'm going to give you 5 tips right now to actually move towards some food freedom and finally enjoy your relationship with food. The first tip is to find new ways to manage your stress without food. So these are basic ones that you can really um, start working on right away. Just being able to realize that it is, and I don't have any props in front of me, so I can't show you, but just finding out like when you are stressed and understanding that stress, and then seeing yourself with your head in the fridge, or seeing yourself grab that bag of cookies or that bag of chips or whatever, and then being able to witness that, and then, just, oh, this is that thing again. I want to put those away. I don't want to do that. And maybe find a different way to be able to de-stress before you dive into that food. Checking in with yourself before eating. And like I said, that kind of goes along with that. And seeing if you're truly hungry. So a lot of my programs, we look at what's called a hunger scale, and understanding, where on that scale are you at that moment. And if you have just finished a meal and you're not hungry, really, you're just kind of in that snacky mode, or you're really diving into something that probably is not the best thing for you, for not because you're hungry, but because it's a habit, or it's an emotional response of some kind. And understanding that, I'm not saying not have it, but just understand where you are on that scale. Finding new ways to kick boredom without food. So a lot of people are working at home right now in front of the computer. If you're not busy on the computer, or even if you are busy on the computer and you're mindlessly doing this, having I'll be very transparent with you. I used to have this container, and it's up in my shelf. This container was full of little jubes or something. I can't even remember. It's been up there for a while now. It's full of dust. But this used to sit on my desk, and I would just mindlessly, put it right in my mouth without even seeing or thinking about it. But you maybe not have something like that on your desk when you're working, or replace it with something like little cut up pieces of cucumber, or those little baby carrots, or something along that lines. Just, that's that habit that we eat mindlessly. And this is part of the process of of understanding and the intention behind eating, taking away the temptation of those foods in your kitchen that are not healthy. And these are things that we've talked about in the past. And then again, having healthy snacks on hand to avoid running through the drive-through, the convenience. Again, throwing an apple in your bag before you head out on a grocery shopping trip, or eat before you go. And as well too, take a big bottle of water. This is actually water, but I've got some herbal tea that I've diffused into it. And making sure that if you are kind of hungry or you get the growlies when you're out, that you have that apple or snack bar or something to have on hand, so you're not running into like the drive-through as a more of a habit than anything. So it's actually really just, this is your time to get honest with what your motivations are for wanting to be healthy. I talked about that a little bit yesterday with regards to going a little deeper and understanding why, not yesterday, last week, and getting into that frame of mind of thinking. I'm just going through my calendar here, just thinking about that missing link, and then bringing a little bit more understanding with, yeah, that could be what's going on. Like, I go through these yo-yo dieting and I just can't seem to lose the weight, or I just can't seem to stick to one thing in particular. And what is it that's going on? Oftentimes it is the more of this emotional uh, disconnect, but deep connection at the same time with food that we're having. Trying to look at what fuels our fire. And these are questions that are in the no, I'm not into there, but these are things that you just want to understand a little bit more. What makes you tick? Why is it that you always do that? Is it an environmental thing? Is this the way you grew up? Was it something that you watched your parents do and how they dealt with things? And is this, just the only way that you know how to deal with stress and overwhelm and upset feelings and different things? What desires do you have for your life? Where do you want to go? I mean, is this the path that you want to continue? Well, if it is, then that's fine. You're probably not watching me at this point. Is what you're doing now going to actually get you to where you want to go? So if you want to change your habits, what are you doing to implement into your life that is going to get you to where you want to go? These are all things that we should be asking ourselves. These motivations behind your why are the reasons why you're on this journey to change. So understanding it and making it quite clear to yourself that, yes, I'm here, but I would like to be here. So what is it that I have to do in between to get to where I want to go? Knowing your why. Not only what you have to do, but why. Why do you want to do it? What is your reasoning behind it? Is it just to lose 30 pounds? Is it just to make sure that, you're setting a good example for your children? Is it something a little bit deeper and bigger? Is it more along the lines of, I don't want to fire off that loaded gun and have cancer. I don't want to fire off that loaded gun and have heart disease. I don't want to fire off that loaded gun. And when I say loaded gun, I'm talking genetics. I don't want to fire off that loaded gun to have diabetes. I mean, is that your why? Or is it just you want to decrease the aches and pains? Is it simple, a little bit more simplified than that? Is it that you want to have your hair grow a little bit longer and be shined? Do you want to have a beautiful smile? Do you want to feel better emotionally and not be in the doldrums all the time and, having shifting moods and everything? Do you want to sleep better? Are these your whys? Like, what is it that you want, basically? You have to be the judge of that. You're the only person that knows that. And you're the one that, be very specific about it and know deep within you, what is your why? And when we get to knowing what your why is, this is the motivator to be able to reach your goals. This is the thing that we're always going to come back to. What is your why? What is the reason behind your motivation to get healthy? What is the reason, to not get cancer? Well, Obviously, there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, why do you want to lose 30 pounds? Do you have a wedding that you were going to go to later this year? Do you want to just feel better in your clothes? Do you want to be more attractive to your spouse? What is that why? And be very clear about it. It doesn't matter what it is at this point. It doesn't matter if it's very selfish. It doesn't matter if it's heroic or, whatever. The reason behind it is, it doesn't matter. It's your why. So you're going to keep those motivations close to you during this journey. I want you to, get the workbook, write out on the first page, my why. What is it that you really are looking for? Because during this journey, it's going to be your constant reminder towards your goal. A healthy relationship with food is about breaking those chains that keep you from getting to that goal. Okay. So, let's see here. I'm just going to make sure that I'm getting everything here. Okay. So questions to dig a little bit deeper, and these are going to be things that are in your workbook that you can grab from the link that I've provided. And you can keep this on hand and, dive a little bit deeper and reach out to me if you need some extra help. So questions that you want to ask yourself. What are 1 to 3 ways that you can manage your stress in a healthy way? So just going back to those points earlier that I was talking about. And what are 1 to 3 ways that you can combat boredom in a healthy way? So what is it that you can do? Now that the weather's nicer, go outside, pick up a new hobby, grab some actual fruits and vegetables as opposed to grabbing snacks all the time. One of the ways that I tackle with boredom, because I guess I'm a little I have issues with not doing stuff. One thing that I do like to do is my painting now. So I find that I always have to do something. I think this is a little bit of an issue that I have going on right now. Maybe some attention deficit situation as an adult. Not too sure, but I always have to keep busy. And if I'm keeping busy, then my brain doesn't work properly. Anyways, I like my painting, and I found that, I'm not very good at it, but I do it and I enjoy it. It kind of allows me to have some downtime. I'm actually I'm not very good at it because when I'm painting, I'm actually not doing any downtime. I'm actually listening to podcasts, and I'm listening to um, uh, different videos and different things like that. So I'm always I've got lots going on all the same time. But I mean, it's something that can be. I mean, a lot of people like to knit. I used to crochet. Or we're going to get out into the garden soon. I keep looking. My outside is just right there. So as I'm looking outside. But these are things that you can really, something that you really enjoy to distract you, basically, until we get into the habit of not going towards food every time we get bored. That's essentially what I'm trying to get at with regards to that. So again, remembering your why, digging deeper and listing the top 5 things that motivate your reasons behind wanting to change. This is something that you should really take a few minutes and just dive a little deeper into you and figure out what is it ultimately. And again, it doesn't matter. There's no judgment. There's no negativity. There's no word, it doesn't matter. It is yours. And that's all that matters. And after you complete that, you're going to go on to listing what will change in your life if and when your goals are reached. So what will happen when you've reached your 30 pounds that you want to lose? Or what will happen for the rest of your life if you don't get cancer? What will happen? How will your life look like? How will life change if you start sleeping better? How will your life change if you what was the other things I was going to say? If your moods are not so up and down all the time, if you're moody because of imbalanced blood sugars and um, all these different wonderful things that happen when we don't eat healthy. Um, what will happen if you eliminate chips from your diet for a month? What will happen? What do you believe will be the outcome? And don't be vague about it. Oh, I'll feel better. Well, what does feeling better look like to you? Be very specific and understanding that um, it's it's you. So not eating chips for a month feels like I'm not going to be so bloated because of fluid retention of having too much salt. My skin is going to start to look a lot better because I'm decreasing that salt and inflammation in my life. Um, I'm going to be eating something better as a result of not having that in my life. How's that going to affect your outer appearance? How's that going to make your guts feel as a result as well, too? So all these different things that can be very specific as opposed to, I'm just going to feel better. Be very, very strategic about the things that you are talking about and what it's going to look like when you accomplish changing the few things that you want to change. And then be prepared. So what are the 3 healthy snacks that you can have on hand so you don't resort to quick fixes? These are things that, be very strategic. Again, don't have those foods in your house for a while and see what happens. Have something else on hand. Make yourself some protein balls. Make yourself a fruit salad and have it on hand in the fridge. Put it in little containers. Put half of it in your fridge and then put the rest in little containers and have them ready to go as you leave out the house. These are all little tips and different things that you can incorporate into your daily routine that's going to make a big, big difference. And in the short amount of time, it's going to make a big difference, but in the big amount of time, it's going to make a big, big difference as well, too. So, again, get your free workbook that goes accompanying with the Eating with Intention series and follow along over the next 4 weeks and see where we're going to end up. If you have any issues or any things start coming up or you have questions that you don't understand, please reach out. I'm going to be here to guide you through it. Get your workbook, keep it on hand. And if you miss one of those series, the video series, I am going to be doing a podcast that accompanies this, and it'll be basically the same thing. I tend to get a little lost when I'm doing video, so the podcast is going to be more focused in. And if you want to get some extra information with regards to that whole intentional eating and situation, just head over to the podcast and it'll be there for you. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Happy Wellness Wednesday, and we'll see you next Wednesday with, what are we talking about next Wednesday? Listening, tuning in, tapping in. So when I talked about that observer that you have that watches without judgment everything that you're doing and allows you to sit back and go, oh, wow, yay, interesting. And then listening into what the reactions are going on with your body as well too. So hopefully you can tune in next Wednesday at 11, and I think about 11, depending upon what's going on, and we will continue the conversation there. Take care.